What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxer coming back at y'all with another one, man. I got some very, very, very interesting news on a matchup that I think would be super entertaining. We got Ohara Davies. I call him Davis. I don't know if it's Davies. I call him Davis though. And Rolly Romero going back and forth at it, man. This is gonna be, man. I hope that this fight gets made, bro. As you guys can see, this is what Ohara Davies put up on his Instagram account. You know, making fun of basically Barrazo looking like an old man or whatnot. And that's kind of what sparked everything. Besides the fact that Ohara Davies being Rolly's #1 contender, mandatory or whatnot, and threatening to take legal actions if that fight does not happen. But we'll talk about that after this, right? So it says, Ohara Davies says, everybody wants to see Rolly get his ass beat after today's injustice. It is wrong that I have every intentions of righting. He should not be a world champion. 120. So that basically the 120 stands for because he has Rolly has 120 days to make the fight against Ohara Davies, or he'll be stripped or whatever. It says the WBA stated that the winner of Rolly Romero versus Ismael Barrazo for the WBA super lightweight world title Saturday night will be ordered to defend against Ohara Davies next. This did not happen overnight. Ohara Davies says, I had to work my ass off to get the world title, and I will work my ass off again to make sure that I am victorious. So Ohara Davies, he wants this fight bad. He's throwing shots. He wants this fight. Man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna speak on this, bro, because I love this. I love this. I'm talking about, I love everything about this fight right here. Because both fighters have flaws in their, we'll talk about it. But anyways, he says, he put this on his page. Don't forget we sparred in Vegas. I put you down. To be honest, I did that just to impress your sister who was watching. Boy, was she impressed. So, oh my goodness. And he responded to Rolly saying, nobody knows who the hell Ohara Davies is. Me and Ryan, more important. So he was responding. These things are getting heated, bro. I'm telling you, the build up to this fight will be so, oh my goodness. And I just hope that they will put it on the UK version of the face-off. But it says, I will not be accepting step aside money if any amount. We need blood to spill, and it's in its rightful place. That's what Ohara Davies said on his story again. And then he goes to say, Rolly Rolando will need to put together a better performance than that if he wants to stand up to me. Today I saw a coward who got dominated by a 40-year-old who is only a shadow of what he used to be. Oh my goodness, bro. Things are getting heated, bro. So let me go ahead and let you know what Rolly had to say. Well, first let's look into this about, Ohara pushing for legal actions, and then we'll speak on how Rolly responded to Ohara, and I'll give my thoughts. Alright, so shout out to my favorite source, BoxingScene.com. It says Ohara Davies team will call for WBA to order mandatory versus Rolly Romero, threaten legal action. A decision will have to be made regarding the next challenger for newly crowned WBA junior welterweight titleist Rolly Romero. Despite his suggestion to the contrary, Romero will have little to say in the process. Special permission was granted for the Las Vegas-based boxer to challenge for the vacant WBA 140-pound title, which he claimed in a highly controversial 9th-round stoppage of #1 contender Ismael Barrazo. Now, one thing about it is maybe the PBC has good ties with the WBA, because I just find it very crazy how somebody can get knocked out and then their next fight they fight for a title. Like, I could see if you lose in a controversial statement, like say for example Jack Catterall, like if it was a situation with Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor, and then Regis Prograis wants to fight Jack Catterall for the WBC, I could see it then, because many people thought Jack Catterall won that fight. But in a situation with Rolly where he just got cleanly knocked out, I don't understand how he thought it can get a title shot in this next fight, other than politics. But that's not the first time that happened. I remember Adrian Broner, after he lost to Sean Porter at the catchweight of 144, which is technically welterweight, he moved down to 140, and in his first fight, after his loss, he got a title shot. So maybe just PBC has good ties with the WBA. But anyways, the fight was headlined May 13th, the Showtime main event from the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas was approved by the sanction body per vote on May 9th to downgrade previous title holder Alberto Puello to champion at recess after the unbeaten Dominican tested positive for a banned substance, clomiphene. Puello was due to face Romero in a voluntary title defense at the time under the condition that the winner would next face Barrazo. The drug test result reshuffled the deck along with specific next steps for the title claimant, an immediate title defense versus next mandatory challenger in line, England's Ohara Davies. Mr. Barrazo was allowed to replace Puello in the bout against Mr. Romero for the vacant WBA title. WBA Championship Committee Chairman Carlos Chavez noted in a written ruling obtained by BoxingScene.com. The winner of Romero-Barrazo bout will be required to defend his title against Davis no longer than 120 days from May 13, 2023. All right, so it goes to talk about the controversial stoppage or whatnot, and it says, you know, about Puello. Let me skip this because this is kind of, but it says, oh, here we go. The same process called for a title eliminator between London's Davis and Spain's Sandor Martin. That fight never came about though. Davis eventually landed a final eliminator and seized the moment in a 9th round knockout over countryman Lewis Ritson on March 4th in Ritson's hometown of Newcastle, England. Davis was not at all mentioned during the brief build-up of Saturday's makeshift main event, nor the aftermath. Romero called for a rematch with Baltimore's Gervonta Davis, against whom he suffered his lone defeat when he was knocked out in the 6th round of their pay-per-view event. All right, so you know, so there we go, man. It's basically going on there, and then Ohara basically says he's not accepting step aside. So let's see what Rolly has to say. Now, the only thing that gets me about as far as Ohara Davies trying to push for legal actions is that, bro, it basically, like, there's still, the WBA is still waiting for Puello's B sample to come back. Now, if Alberto Puello, who tested positive for clomiphene or whatever in his A sample, if his B sample comes back positive, then Ohara has a case in point to make his fight against Rolly Romero for the WBA. But if Puello's sample, if his B sample comes back negative, then he really can't, he wouldn't have a leg to stand on, because Puello will be automatically given an opportunity to fight for his belt because he's champion at recess. So I don't know why they're trying to press for it right now. Maybe they're just trying to go ahead and get the ball rolling, expecting Puello to test positive in his B sample, but it just kind of seems too soon to be pressing for that action, because, like I said, it just all depends on what this B sample comes back as. But anyways, this is what Rolly had to say in response to Puello. I'm sorry, in response to Davis. So this is Rolly's response to Ohara Davies, and shout out to BoxingScene.com again. But it says, Rolando Rolly Romero seemingly has little interest in defending his WBA 140-pound title against Ohara Davies. When asked by BoxingScene.com about the battling Davies next, the newly crowned WBA super lightweight champion repeatedly mentioned that he only wants to fight Ryan Garcia in his first title defense. Romero believes that a fight against Garcia belongs on pay-per-view, whereas there wouldn't be nearly as much interest in him fighting England's Davis. Me and Ryan Garcia is more important for boxing, Rolly told BoxingScene.com. Nobody knows who the hell Ohara Davies is, and that's that. We're going to make that fight happen, me and Ryan Garcia. Romero might be forced, of course, to make his first title defense versus Davis or risk being stripped of his championship. The WBA announced as a part of his agreement to sanction the Romero-Ismael Barraza fight for its vacant 140-pound championship that the winner would have to defend it in a bout with Davis within 120 days of their bout. North Las Vegas, Romero beat Barraza by 9. Okay, we already know that. And so, all right, so yeah, that's basically what that is. Now, but see, here's the thing though, as far as like, well, let's talk about it. All right, so now this is the part I've been waiting for to get my opinion about this. Now, this right here, I promise you, I would love this fight, and I'm gonna really push for this fight to happen because, bro, talk about a build-up. You got two guys nobody likes these guys, or a lot of people don't like these guys in their home. You know, a lot of people don't really like Rolly out here, and a lot of people don't really like Ohara in the UK or whatnot, man. Both fighters are very well at trash talking or whatnot, and both fighters just like seem to come up short and in their biggest victories. Where Rolly came up short against Gervonta Tank Davis. Ohara been in there with some guys, man. He's been in there with Jack Catterall. I'm sorry, him too. He's been in there with Josh Taylor. He got stopped by Josh Taylor. He was talking a lot of stuff to Josh Taylor or whatnot, and he ended up getting stopped. He was in there with Jack Catterall. They had a whole little face-off thing, the UK version, which I always say is better than the American version. I don't think it was called that one was called The Gloves Is Off though, but they had their face-off, bro, and you know, they definitely he definitely talks a lot of trash, you know, but he has been, I will say, he has beat guys like Miguel Vasquez, Tyrone McKenna. Those are like two decent names. Rolly, on the other hand, really hasn't beat any top names. A lot of people thought that he lost to Jackson Marinez. A lot of people thought that he lost that fight, but regardless, man, look, bro, I'm telling you right now, if these two fight, the build-up would just be wonderful. You got two great trash talkers. These guys basically, they don't care about being the bad guy in any situation. Again, like I said, a lot of people, from what I understand, really too much don't care for Ohara Davies. I remember it was he was doing an interview with Kugan Kessler, and I can't think of who it was that walked up to him, right? But he walked up to him, they were like back, it looked like they were behind a building or something. And he walks up to Ohara Davies, and Ohara, he's like, hold my glasses, and then they got to tussling. Kugan was like, boys, stop. And then we can't forget the time where Ohara walked up to Floyd and was like, you can't compare me to Tank Davis, and Floyd like goes in on Ohara, like goes off on him right there in his face. He's like, of course we can't compare you to Tank Davis, because Tank a motherfucking world champion. He was like, Floyd just like shut it down real quick. But man, listen, bottom line, bro, I really would love to see these two go at it, bro. Both of their styles, they don't have the prettiest style at all. Both of them are kind of awkward. Ohara Davies definitely makes a lot of mistakes in there. And so does Rolly Romero, man. I just think that this fight, oh my goodness, the build up, everything about this would be just excited. The build up the fight. Let me know what you guys think. Would you want to see this fight? How do you see this fight playing out? Like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?